Make it make sense to me that your job as a backup quarterback is not to make sure that QB number one gets better. If you are a boxer, you spar with people that's going to challenge you. If you got a fight coming up, you don't put people in the ring that you can beat easily to spar with you. You put people in the ring that's going to give you a challenge, that's going to make you better. That's what you do. You can't be the sparring partner and then tell Javante Tank that you should be the priority.
BWB. Bandwagon Buffs.
That's right. Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon Buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Family, I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. What up, guys? So Maddox Kopp is back. You know who Maddox Kopp is. Anyways, he's back and he got a few words to say. What does he say? Former Colorado quarterback claims that Deion Sanders only cared if he made his son better. This one is from, what does that say? Bro Bible? Is that what that is? Bro Bible or Bribble? Y'all can help me out. You know what I'm saying. You know how my reading is. Stop playing with me, okay? By Grayson Ware. What does Grissom say? Former Colorado quarterback Maddox Kopp claims that Deion Sanders only cared about the development of his son, Shedeur, upon arrival to Boulder. He says that Coach Prime made it his job to make Shedeur better, not for him to get better. An ongoing lawsuit aims to eliminate all NCAA transfer restrictions. Kopp, who had a very difficult journey, is amongst those to testify in court against the current restrictions and told the story from his brief time with the Buffaloes. The 6'5" signal caller ultimately ended up in a brutal spot after Sanders was hired last December. He was ultimately not allowed to play during the 2023 college football season. Maddox Kopp had a rough year. The former three-star prospect in the college football recruiting class of 2021 committed to Houston out of high school over 12 other offers. He did not play as a true freshman, took a red shirt, and transferred to Colorado. Kopp joined the program before then head coach Carl Durrell was fired midway through the year and played in just 2 games for the Buffaloes, and then Sanders arrived. Coach Prime made it very clear that he was going to turn over the majority of his roster upon arrival. Louis Vuitton luggage was on the way. Kopp was pushed out the door and landed at Miami, Ohio before his most recent season. However, because he had already used his free one-time transfer, the redshirt freshman was forced to apply for a waiver with excruciating circumstances. All right, and I'm skipping down just so I can get to the nitty-gritty. If the quarterbacks were to stay, Kopp said that they were given one job: to make Shedeur the best he can be. They were not tasked with being ready in case they were thrust into the starting job. They were not told to get better and develop into a possible replacement for Shedeur after he graduates. Coach Prime supposedly told Kopp and his quarterback counterparts that their job was to make his son better. It was all about Shedeur. All right, let's give it a Liberian perspective, guys. Let's give it the Liberian perspective. Maddox Kopp, you and the other players here at TLP Sports Club, me, Harry B, being the host, I never disparage any of you guys. I never throw you under the bus. I try to give you a fair shot. I try my best to be fair and balanced. I'm never going to let anyone feel like whatever they're saying is not correct. So let's look into it. How do I give that same treatment to what it is that you are claiming or alleging? All right, because these are allegations. Coach Prime will have to come out and say it, and Coach Prime is probably never going to ever cover that. He ain't going to deal with that. Now, maybe one day he might. What's the nitty-gritty here? What's going on here? Shedeur being Deion Sanders' son, let's set that aside for a second. A head coach, a D1 coach, according to the Missouri coach, what he said in a 247 Sports interview on December the 4th when that transfer portal window opened and we were doing that transfer portal extravaganza or palooza or whatever they called it. During that interview, the Missouri coach said, I'm going to paraphrase, okay, I play young men or I choose players who are going to help me keep my job. So I am going to choose the best players. I'm going to put the best players on that field so I don't lose my job. Now, think about it. Coach Prime, he's under a bigger microscope than most coaches. So I understand it. I get it. Let's make the argument that Shedeur is the best quarterback coming 2024. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college football in 2023. We can all make that argument. Some of y'all silly people probably would say, no, he was not. But that's because you're silly. So there's no argument there. I'm not going to argue with you because you're silly. You know what happens when you argue with silly people, right? When you argue with silly people, it makes you look worse than them. That that means you're stupid for arguing with them because silly people don't know what they're talking about. Shedeur Sanders was one of the best quarterbacks in college football in 2023. He put up 3,200 yards behind an O-line that has been publicly criticized to be one of the worst O-lines in all of college football, giving up either 52 or 54 sacks to their quarterback. How do you put up those type of numbers when you are behind such a horrendous offensive line? An offensive line, you know how I feel already. I know it wasn't your fault. I'm never going to throw you under the bus because I know it wasn't your fault. There were other issues and a lot of other things that played into that. You took a lot of the heat because other things were exposed. It's not all of your fault. You missed a lot of blocks, but a lot of those things that you went through could have been avoided because any good O-line can be exposed given those circumstances. I'm still going to stand on that. Let me just go with the choir for a second, just to make this point. We said that the O-line was not the best O-line. Shedeur put up over 3,000 yards behind that O-line. Now the O-line is going to be replaced. Now we're bringing in new bodies, bigger bodies, stronger bodies, faster bodies, more agile, more athletic bodies that understand the excitement of protecting number 2, who you're staring at right now on your screen, with his coach, his head coach, Deion Sanders. So now, understand one thing, guys. Please, let's understand one thing. When you are a head coach, your number one job is to try to keep your job and put the best product on the field to keep your job. That's what the game is all about. What up, RJ? Hope all is well, brother. Why is it that we vilify Coach Prime for doing that? Why do we vilify Coach Prime for doing exactly what other coaches do? Why is it that the same argument that we apply to Coach Prime is not applied to Nick Saban, who does exactly the same thing? Other coaches put the best product on the field. So let's just, for 1 second, think about what he said. Our job was to make sure that QB number 1 got better. Think about that. If you are a backup, you tell me, if your job is not to make sure that QB number 1 gets better, then tell me what your job is. Make the argument. Make it make sense to me that your job as a backup quarterback is not to make sure that QB number 1 gets better. I'm going to remind y'all of a letter that Colin Kaepernick wrote to the Jets organization when they were going through their quarterback situation. Colin Kaepernick wrote a letter to that organization, essentially was telling them, hey man, I know you know about my situation. I went against the grain. I put myself out there for my culture and for my people. With all that being said, I'm still ready and able to be a quarterback, and I know the situation that you are in, and I can make your number 1 better. I'm going to come in there and do everything that I can do to make QB number 1 better. I'm not coming in as a disruptor. I want you to please understand where I'm standing at, and I want this to be clear that I already know you know my position as a disruptor, and I want everybody to know where I stand about Colin Kaepernick. I had the number 1 shirt in New York, the number 1 shirt that I designed with my So African clothing line, and I put it out in Brooklyn. It went all over the country. It went viral. A definite supporter of what Colin Kaepernick did. All right, so understand that. But he was pretty much just telling them, hey man, I'm here to help with the development of QB number 1. I would be your practice squad QB, and I would be in that locker room encouraging him to be the best that he can be. One of the best quarterbacks in his prime and doing his time. You can argue that all you want. That's up to you. But he was a darn good quarterback. And the fact that he's out of the NFL and trying to get back in and understanding the assignment. Colin Kaepernick understands the assignment as a backup, as a practice squad quarterback. When you are not QB number 1, your job is to make QB number 1 better. So tell me, Maddox Kopp, like I said, I'm not disparaging you. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but I want you to make it make sense to me. Why are we trying to vilify Coach Prime for doing and saying exactly what every D1 coach, forget about D1, what every coach is going to do? Have you not seen videos all over the internet where these little pups, these pee-wee leagues, even the flag football leagues, where parents are shouting at the head coach, play my child, play my child? The head coach's job is to put the best product on the field. That is the head coach's job, so that he can give his team a good chance to win a game. You must win as a head coach, or you are not effective as a head coach. And every backup, every practice squad, every number 2 knows their job is to make number 1 better. Am I missing something? Y'all tell me out there if I'm missing something. What is the job of the practice squad? Please, somebody tell me. Let's bring on Lou, who does a great job impressing impersonating Coach Prime. Lou, make a video, please, for us. And tell me, because you used to be a practice squad player, make a video explaining to us what the job of a practice squad or a second string or third string is supposed to do. Your job is to make the first team better. It's to challenge the number one, make them better. Because this is a team that we are all on, and everybody plays a part on this team. If you're number two, your job is to challenge number one to make number one better. That is your job. Forget about the fact that that's his son. He's number one. He's QB1. It's all of your job to make him better, because that's how you're going to win together. You play your part, you stay in your lane, and wait your turn. You said it yourself. When he graduates, then maybe you step in, or if he gets injured, then you can step in like Ryan Stubb. But yes, Mr. Maddox Kopp, it is your job to make number one better. And regardless of the fact that that's his son, he's the head coach, he should tell you QB1 is the priority, my friend. And if you are on a football team, you've been in a team sport. If you started on your high school team, which is probably one of the reasons why you were recruited to come to Colorado at a D1 school, if you started, then guess what? You understand that you were priority on your team, and everybody else's job was to make you better. If you didn't know that, then my friend, you haven't been playing team sports. We protect number one. We make number one better. We put people around him that's going to challenge him. If you are a boxer, you spar with people that's going to challenge you. If you got a fight coming up, you don't put people in the ring that you can beat easily to spar with you. You put people in the ring that's going to give you a challenge, that's going to make you better. That's what you do. You can't be the sparring partner and then tell Javante Tank that you should be the priority. How does that make sense? Make that make sense for me. You are the sparring partner. Tell me how it makes sense that Javante should not be the priority and you should be the priority. And you're supposed to be trying to make him better. But you're saying, oh no, you shouldn't come here and tell me that I should be making him better. I should be the priority. What are you saying, bruh? Make it make sense, bruh. Maddox Kopp, if you play sports, if you are a secondary person, it is your job to make the number ones better, okay? Okay, family, that is all the information that I have for this video. I hope you got a little something out of it, and if you did, please make sure to smash that subscribe button to help this channel grow. That's all I do here. I'm gonna have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B, and that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP Sports Club.